Anna had always been drawn to the old abandoned house at the end of Willow Lane. Its crumbling facade and overgrown garden seemed to whisper untold stories, secrets yearning to be set free. She often walked by on her way home from the library, her arms laden with books, and imagined the lives that had unfolded within those weathered walls. It was on one such spring day, with a gentle breeze carrying the scent of blossoms, that Anna first saw him. Kneeling in the tangled garden, hands caked with soil, was an elderly man with a shock of white hair. Beside him was an overturned wheelbarrow, spilling out gardening tools and seed packets. Before she could stop herself, Anna found her feet carrying her through the creaky gate. "Excuse me, sir, do you need some help?" Startled, the man looked up, his blue eyes bright in a lined face. He seemed to study her for a long moment before his mouth curved into a smile. "Well now, I wouldn't say no to an extra pair of hands. Trying to breathe some life back into this sorry patch of earth." Anna set down her books and knelt beside him, the rich loam cool against her knees. Together, they worked in companionable silence, pulling weeds and turning soil. As the sun began its lazy descent, painting the sky in streaks of orange and purple, the man sat back on his heels with a satisfied sigh. "I think that's more than enough for today. I'm Jack, by the way." "Anna," she replied, brushing a stray curl from her forehead with the back of her hand. "I pass by here all the time. Have you lived here long?" A shadow seemed to pass over Jack's face. "No, not long. This house belonged to someone I loved very much." Something in his voice made Anna hold back her questions, an old grief still tender to the touch. Over the next few weeks, Anna found herself drawn to the old house and its quiet occupant. Whenever she had a free afternoon, she would make her way down Willow Lane to help Jack in the garden. Slowly, tentatively, like the unfurling of a tightly closed bud, he began to share his story. Her name was Lily, like the flower. A wistful smile played at the corners of Jack's mouth. "We met in this very garden, almost 60 years ago now. She was the daughter of the family who lived here. I was just the gardener's son." As they worked, shaping unruly hedges and coaxing new growth from dormant flower beds, Jack wove a love story so achingly beautiful that Anna felt her heart constrict. Two young hearts, blooming in secret like wildflowers reaching for the sun. Stolen glances, brushing fingertips, whispered promises in the velvet dark. Her father found out, of course. Didn't take too kindly to his only daughter being sweet on the help. Jack's hands, knotted with age, rested on his knees. He sent her away to live with her aunt up north. I left to join the army. Didn't think I had anything to stay for with Lily gone. But distance could not untether the gossamer strands of first love. Through lonely nights in the barracks, through mud and gunfire and fear, Jack held Lily's face in his mind's eye like a talisman. And when he returned, a man now, tempered by the horrors of war, she was there waiting. Lily in a yellow sundress, Lily with flowers in her hair, Lily leaping into his arms with a cry of joy. "We married that spring, right here in this garden." Lily said there couldn't be any other place. Jack's eyes had taken on a faraway look, lost in a sea of memory. "Those were the happiest years of my life, watching our love take root, grow stronger with each passing season. But even the most beautiful garden must eventually yield to winter." A cough that wouldn't go away, a weakness that slowly stole the rosiness from Lily's cheeks. The diagnosis came, cold and clinical, a killing frost that shriveled their dreams. "She was so brave, my Lily. Even at the end, she never stopped smiling." Jack's voice was husky now, each word an effort. "The last thing she said to me was that she'd be waiting, that we would find each other again in the garden we had made together." The sun had sunk fully below the horizon, and inky darkness blanketed the garden, studded with cold white stars. Anna's vision blurred with tears. In the months they had worked side by side, nurturing life from the bruised earth, she had come to love Jack. There was a purity to him, a deep-rooted goodness as steadfast as the turning of the seasons. In the weeks that followed, Anna and Jack toiled from dawn till dusk. The neighbors began to take notice of the transformation unfolding behind the gate. Gone were the choking weeds and grasping brambles, replaced by borders of foxglove and delphinium, roses heavy with perfume. And in the very center of the garden, a single bed of tulips, their petals the yellow of Lily's sundress. It was there that Anna found him, on a morning bright with spring's promise, head bowed as if in prayer. She was beside him before she registered something was wrong, before she noticed the stillness, the waxy pallor of his skin. With trembling fingers, she brushed back a lock of hair from his forehead. In that instant, she understood. This garden, this labor of love, had been Jack's final act of devotion. He had poured every last ounce of his heart and his strength into creating one last earthly paradise for his beloved Lily, a place where she could linger, just out of sight, until it was time for them to reunite. Through her tears, Anna thought she could just make out two hazy figures walking hand in hand through the shimmering air. A young man, tall and straight-backed, a woman with flowers in her hair. Their story had come full circle at last, from bud to blossom to fruit, nurtured by a love that had weathered every storm. That was the true magic of a garden, Anna realized. It held a mirror up to the soul, reflected back the beauty and resilience of the human heart. As she knelt there in the loamy soil, surrounded by the riotous blooms that Jack and Lily had sown together, Anna could feel the whisper of their love on the breeze, could hear it in the hum of bees and the liquid warble of a songbird. And she knew that this would be her work now, to safeguard this patch of hallowed ground, to share the story rooted in its very soil. Because that's what the best love stories do. They reach beyond the boundaries of one heart, one lifetime. They nourish us and help us grow, from seed to blossom to seed again. Anna laid a reverent hand on the earth, feeling its slow, steady pulse beneath her palm. "I'll take good care of our garden," she whispered, "until you and Lily are ready to tend it again." And as she walked out into the sunlit lane, arms laden with books and tools and packets of seeds, she smiled through her tears. Because she knew that as long as there were gardens, as long as there was rich earth to dig our hands into and beauty to be coaxed from tiny seeds, Jack and Lily's love would endure, as timeless and eternal as spring itself. Anna threw herself into tending the garden with a passion that borders on obsession. Every spare moment was spent among the blooms and brambles, coaxing new life from the rich earth. She pored over gardening books late into the night, learning the secrets of soil and sunlight, of pruning and propagation. As word of the garden's rejuvenation spread, curious neighbors began to stop by, eager for a glimpse of the hidden oasis. Anna found herself becoming an unofficial tour guide, sharing the stories that Jack had entrusted to her. She spoke of young love and devotion, of separation and reunion, her voice soft with reverence. One day, a woman with silver hair and knowing eyes lingered after the others had gone. "You've done a beautiful thing here," she said, her gaze roaming over the riotous blooms. "But don't forget to tend to your own heart as well." Anna blinked, surprised. I don't know what you mean." The woman smiled, a little sadly. "It's easy to lose yourself in someone else's love story, to make it your whole world. But you have a story of your own to live, my dear." Long after the woman had gone, her words echoed in Anna's mind. She realized, with a pang, that she had been using the garden as a cocoon, a way to insulate herself from the messiness and uncertainty of her own life. She had poured so much of herself into preserving Jack and Lily's love. There was little left for her own dreams. Slowly, tentatively, Anna began to carve out space for herself amidst the flowers and foliage. She started bringing her sketchbook to the garden, filling page after page with studies of unfurling petals and slanting sunlight. She had always loved to draw, but had never quite found the courage to pursue it. Now, surrounded by beauty of her own making, she felt something taking root within her, small but sturdy. As the seasons turned and the garden continued to thrive under Anna's devoted care, she found herself spending more and more time bent over her sketchbook, lost in a world of line and shadow. She barely noticed when the leaves began to turn and the flowers faded, her mind awhirl with a new dream taking shape. On the first crisp day of autumn, a man appeared at the garden gate, a battered leather satchel slung over his shoulder. He was tall and lean, with an unruly shock of dark hair and eyes that seemed to spark with secret amusement. "I hope I'm not intruding," he said, his voice warm and rich as honey. "I'm Liam, an art teacher at the community center. One of my students told me about an amazing garden hidden away on Willow Lane, and I just had to see for myself." Anna felt a flutter in her chest, a sudden shyness that was entirely unlike her. "I'm Anna," she managed. "Please come in." As Liam wandered through the garden, exclaiming over the artful arrangement of color and texture, Anna found herself stealing glances at him from beneath lowered lashes. There was something about his easy, confident movements, the way he seemed so utterly at home in his own skin, that made her feel clumsy and uncertain in comparison. When he paused to admire a particularly lovely rose, Anna hurried to tell him the story of Jack and Lily, the words tumbling out in a rush. But Liam just smiled and shook his head. "That's a beautiful story," he said, "but I want to know yours. What brings a young woman to spend all her time tending someone else's garden?" Under his gentle questioning, Anna found herself opening up in a way she never had before. She told him of her love for books and art, her secret dreams of creating something beautiful of her own. And when she shyly showed him her sketchbook, Liam's eyes widened with genuine admiration. "Anna, these are incredible," he breathed, flipping through the pages. "You have a real gift. Have you ever thought about taking classes? Honing your skills?" Anna ducked her head, feeling a blush creep up her neck. I don't know. It's just a hobby, really." Liam looked at her then, his gaze intent. "Don't hide your light, Anna. The world needs more beauty, more art born from the heart. Promise me you'll think about it." And think about it she did, through long nights scented with the ghostly perfume of moonflowers. She thought of Jack and Lily, of the great love they had shared, and realized that the greatest tribute she could pay them was to live her own life as fully and passionately as they had lived theirs. When Liam returned to the garden a week later, Anna was waiting for him with a resolve that straightened her spine and put a sparkle in her eye. "I want to do it," she said without preamble. "I want to take art classes, to see where this path leads me. And," she faltered, suddenly shy, "and I was hoping you might be willing to guide me." Liam's smile was like the sun breaking through clouds. "I would be honored," he said softly. "In fact, I can't think of anything I'd rather do." And so began a new chapter in the garden on Willow Lane. As Anna split her time between tending the flowers and honing her craft, she felt a sense of rightness, of purpose clicking into place. Liam was a patient teacher and a steadfast friend, coaxing her out of her shell with his gentle encouragement and wry humor. Slowly, tentatively, like the first tender shoots of spring, their friendship began to blossom into something more. Lingering glances over sketchpads, fingertips brushing as they weeded side by side, laughter ringing out in the honeysuckle-scented air. One golden afternoon, as they sat together on the old stone bench at the heart of the garden, Liam turned to Anna with a question in his eyes. "Anna, I know this might seem sudden, but..." He took a deep breath, his hand finding hers. "Meeting you, working with you, has been the greatest joy of my life. You're brilliant and talented and beautiful, inside and out, and I find myself wondering, hoping, if you might consider exploring this path by my side, not just as friends, but as something more." Anna's heart leapt, a wild fluttering bird behind the cage of her ribs. In Liam's earnest gaze, his tentative smile, she saw a future unfurling as lush and vibrant as the garden they had nurtured together. A love to build a life upon, season by season, year by year. With a smile that held all the warmth of summer, Anna twined her fingers with his. "I would like nothing more," she whispered, and tilted her face up to meet his kiss. As the sun dipped low on the horizon, bathing the garden in honeyed light, Anna rested her head on Liam's shoulder and breathed in the perfume of the twilight-blooming jasmine. She thought of Jack and Lily, of the great love that had seeded this place with magic. But Anna understood now that their story, beautiful as it was not meant to be a weight for her to carry. It was a gift, a reminder to cherish every moment, to reach for joy with both hands. Jack and Lily had tended their love like the rarest of flowers, and in doing so, had created a legacy that would endure long after the last petal fell. With Liam's hand in hers and a love of her own taking root, Anna knew she would do the same. The garden on Willow Lane would always be a part of her, a chapter in the ever-unfolding story of her life. But it was time for her to step beyond its gates, to set her feet upon an unknown path, to trust that it would carry her home. Anna closed her eyes and smiled, feeling the last golden rays of sun on her face. Whatever the future held, she would meet it with an open heart, with the courage that only comes from loving deeply. Because that was the true magic of the garden, the lesson that Jack and Lily had imparted, that a love tended with care, with unwavering devotion, will always bear fruit, that even in the darkest of winters, spring will come again. And so, hand in hand, Anna and Liam walked out into the gathering dusk, ready to plant the seeds of their own forever. Behind them, the garden slumbered beneath the rising moon, its secrets and its stories safe in Anna's keeping, until the time came to tell them anew. For in the end, that is the nature of love. It grows, it changes, it endures, but it is always a beginning.